Is it possible to master smooth movement in After Effects under 15 minutes? Well, yes. I've been getting comments asking if I could share how I do it. And actually, it's not even that complicated. You just need 4 components. If you master them all, your edits will be buttery smooth. But pay attention to all of them because every element is like a piece of the puzzle. When you put all the pieces together, that's when everything starts to flow. So that being said, let's get straight into it. Alright, so we're gonna need something to work with. It can be a picture, it can be anything you want. So if I head over to the project panel, I accidentally opened up Motion Essence.
Nobody's gonna know.
Link in the description. And I'm just gonna take something from handles on links and we're gonna drop it over here. So here we have a pretty cool animation that we're gonna work with. I'm just gonna add a subtle shadow to this, which we learned in one of the recent tutorials, by the way. It's quite easy. Anyway, let's get into the sauce. So the first component is snappy movement. This is something I use all the time in all my intros, and I feel like most editors don't even know about it. So you can use it for position, for scale, it doesn't really matter, but the goal is to create that rapid movement and then we're gonna prolong it with a linear movement. It will make sense in a second. So for starters, we're gonna need to set up some keyframes. So I'm gonna hit S for this layer and I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit and then I'm gonna find the sweet spot where we got that button press. So in order to create the movement, we're gonna need to set up the keyframe. And then after a few frames, we're gonna set up another one by changing the value. Something like that should do. Alright, so if you left it like that, you would probably get $5 for the edit.
Go to WWE.com and...
So we need to fix it with adding a proper graph. So what I'm gonna do with this is select both keyframes, hit F9 in order to easy ease, or you can just right click, go over to keyframe assistant and click on easy ease. With that being done, when the keyframes are selected, you wanna head over to the graph editor. So here, as you can notice, we got the speed graph, and most of the time I use this particular graph, but if you really want to have a full control and call yourself pro, you can go over here and click on value graph. Even if you just opened up that graph, you're already pro. Congrats. So this line over here, this graph represents our movement over time. So this is the start of the animation, this is the end. So it goes pretty linearly, as you can notice. But we can manipulate how fast it goes in particular moments. So for example, if I wanted to cover most of the movement in the beginning, then I would select this keyframe and I would drag the handle upwards. So we already have this snappy movement, which is looking way better than before. But what I usually do is just take this keyframe, this handle, and I drag it to the left to kind of connect these two dots. I mean, not necessarily connect, but just get them close together. So I'd say the thing that makes it so smooth is the last 10 to 20% of the movement. So whenever we're kind of fading it away and the line becomes flatter. So especially when we turn on the motion blur, it's gonna look absolutely fire. But the thing is that our movement stops over here. And there are 2 fixes for this. You can either extend this keyframe, and then you need to fix the graph because it's gonna go overboard. So you just wanna make sure that this red line doesn't go above the yellow one. So for example, here it goes a little bit. So you would need to have this handle a little bit lower. So this is working perfectly fine. And as you can notice, this movement is fading away a little bit better this time, but we kind of lose the impact in the beginning. So what I like doing with this, let me just hit Ctrl Z, is actually going back and creating a new object in order to prolong this movement. So I'm gonna right click over to new object and I'm gonna call it all1 and then I'm gonna parent YouTube subscribe to our all1 layer. So now I'm gonna place a keyframe for scale on top of this one and then I'm gonna move forward, let's say maybe to this moment, and I'm gonna zoom in even more. So you see, like, just prolonging this movement is making it so smooth because it's kind of pulling in the viewer towards the animation. I would even like probably decrease the value a little bit here. So this is something I've used multiple times in my videos. On the screen I'm gonna drop you an example. But if you wanted to take it a step further, you could actually select these 2 keyframes, hit F9 in order to easy ease, then go to the graph editor. So what you could do here is just take this handle upwards, and we're not going for such a movement as before. So this would be way too sharp and we wouldn't really see that zoom in effect at the end. So instead I would just probably drag it like that and maybe this should be good. Yeah, that looks perfect. So this is one of the best movements you can use and it looks absolutely amazing. And now we're getting into the component number 2, which is probably the most important out of all of them. If you master this step and you can do it properly, you're gonna be way ahead of the competition. So basically I'm talking about overlapping keyframes. So now this component is gonna be related to what we've already created. I've told you about it multiple times, but I feel like there are gonna be editors who have never heard about it. So essentially the goal of this is to overlap the movement. So we're gonna start a new movement before this one ends. Because for example, if we wanted to create a zoom out effect now, and we would do it here, we would have a rough stop at this exact keyframe. So there would be no movement. And we don't want that. If you really want to create smooth movements, you need to overlap keyframes. So I'm gonna delete this keyframe and let me show you the proper way. So what you want to do is right click, go over to new object, and over here I'm gonna rename it to all2, and then I'm gonna parent all1 to all2, and now we're gonna start our another movement around this time. So kinda in the middle of these two keyframes. So I'm gonna hit S, and I'm gonna click on the stopwatch, and then I'm gonna move somewhere here, and we're just gonna zoom out. So look at that. So now we are missing a graph. So what I'm gonna do with this is select both keyframes, hit F9 in order to ease these, go over to the graph editor, and now I can actually show you another graph, which is gonna be the mid graph. This is probably the most popular graph out of all of them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm using this one most of the time. So essentially we got this kind of linear graph, so we want to start it slow, so the line is gonna be flat here, and then we're gonna drop down, which is gonna create a very sharp movement, and we're gonna cover the most distance in the shortest amount of time, and then we're gonna slow down at the end. It will make sense in a second. So take a look at that. And now if I take this handle and I drag it to the right, and I take the bottom handle and I drag it to the left, here we have this drop. So look at that now. So this looks fire. And if you wanted to go over to the speed graph, that's how it would look. So you would have sharp peak. I feel like we're already cooking because it starts to look compelling. And now the third component is the transition. So if you want to transition with the movement, you need to do this. It was like a hook inside the video. So we have overlapped keyframes, and it doesn't necessarily have to stop here. You can just build endlessly.
To infinity.
But when you get to 10 new objects, it gets overwhelming. So be prepared. So now I'm gonna show you how to create a smooth transition with the movement. So for this, we're gonna need scene 2. So instead of just creating a new precomp, I'm gonna go into the project and I'm gonna grab the same asset we've used before, and I'm just gonna trim it at around, let's say, maybe this time. So now the goal is to move this asset towards the left, and then we're gonna introduce a new one from the right. So it's just gonna slide in onto the screen. Oh, let me just add drop shadow here. Copy, paste. So we could use position in this one, but I'm just gonna create a new one for the clarity. So I'm gonna right click, go over to new, no object. Oh, wait up, actually I'm gonna show you a better method. So let's go back. So what I usually do to streamline the process is actually selecting the last layer I've created, the last null, and then I hit Ctrl D, and then I hit Ctrl D, and then I hit U, and I delete the last keyframe. Then once it's done, I'm gonna head over to all2, and I'm gonna use parent and link and attach it to all3. So now I can control everything with all3, and I don't need to go over here, right click, go to new, no object, then rename the layer, start a new keyframe. So it's just faster. But instead of scale, I'm gonna use position. So I'm gonna delete this one, and I'm gonna hit P on the keyboard, and I'll create a keyframe for position. Let's place this keyframe somewhere here, and then let me just find a sweet spot. Maybe let's do it like that. So here what I'm gonna do is just change X, probably something like that should do. So essentially what we want to do with this is just select both keyframes, hit F9 in order to ease, and then click on the graph editor icon, and you're gonna notice two graphs. Confusing, I know. So if you don't want your brain to explode, you can always use the speed graph, and it's so much easier to control position over here. But if you really wanted to have a full control, you would need to go back to value graph, and here you can't do anything until you separate dimensions. I know, this is weird. I guess they had to complicate it like that, otherwise it wouldn't work. Because currently, if we don't separate dimensions, we don't have the handles, so we can't control the graph. So what you could do is just select the position over here, right click, go over to separate dimensions, click on this, and now, since the dimensions are separated, we can easily use the keyframe, and we have the handle. So now we can control X. So this is our movement from the middle to the left. While the Y value is not really moving, it's flat, because we are not moving up and down. So here you could have a full control. For example, you could extend it like that. Let's easy ease this one, and you could just leave it at that. But like I'm saying, it's so much easier to control it in the speed graph, so that's where I'm gonna go. So we are back in the graph, we understand. So what I'm gonna do with this is actually take the first keyframe. I'm gonna drag this handle to the right, and now we kind of want to create a slope going upwards. So we have this nice slow beginning, and then it's gradually speeding up, and then we have a hard stop. So at the hard stop, we actually have to go back, and we need to trim our layer just like that. Let's see. And now at the moment when it disappears, we need to introduce our YouTube subscribe number 2. So I'm gonna actually scale it up a little bit, and I'm gonna create a keyframe for position. I'm gonna place that keyframe, say somewhere here, and I'm just gonna drag it to the right. So we have the movement going in the same direction. So what I'm gonna do with this is select both keyframes, hit F9, go over to the graph editor. So here we wanna create a slope, but on the other side, just like that. And let me just turn on the motion blur to see. So this looks cool. I just feel like it has harsh stub over here, so I'm gonna extend it. Let's find the sweet spot. And we got a seamless transition. And here an important thing is to kind of pay attention to the speed. So you want to match the speed of the first animation and you want to make sure the second animation looks pretty much the same. So we already have a fire sequence. It looks pretty cool, to be honest. But now the final component is something I use all the time. And this is something you've been seeing throughout this tutorial, which is basically shaking the camera. Shake, shake, shake. So basically there's a magical expression which you can add to the position and rotation. So what I'm gonna do is just hit P for our all 3 layer. And the reason you want to do it at the end is because if you added the expression to number 1 and then you duplicated the layer, you would just intensify the whole camera shake by adding and stacking more layers. So what you want to do with this is have one layer that controls it all. So I'm gonna actually create a new one. Let's create a new object. Let's call it camera shake. And here I'm just gonna take all 3 and YouTube subscribe from the scene 2. And I'm gonna attach it to our camera shake. And then you want to hit P, hold down Alt and click on the stopwatch. And over here you want to type in wiggle and in brackets let's add 1,8. I think that should do. So basically the first value is responsible for how fast the camera moves and then the other value is responsible for how far it goes. So actually this is going to be very visible when we stop with the animation. So here you can notice how it nicely floats. And then I really like combining it with the rotation. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to hit R. And I'm gonna click the stopwatch for rotation, paste it here. So what I usually do here is just changing the second value to 0.3. So the edit just flows a little bit better with this. This is just adding that extra smoothness. Alright, so we're gonna wrap it up here. Hopefully you enjoyed the tutorial. I'm pretty sure if you mastered all of these 4 components, your edits are gonna be way smoother. So yeah, just make sure to check out the video on the screen and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys.